1, 2, mic check. Boys clapping. Man, so guess the beautiful thing about a podcast is it's not hard to get the audio right. You make one setting and you just sit in a space. Man, and this is already so fun to me. I was just sitting there thinking to myself, it's Sunday, November 19th. So this would be either the second or the third podcast. I don't know. Or it could be the fourth one. I'm still figuring out how I'm going to place them up, but this feels so right to me. And it feels like I'm being pulled into the now. When you're recording, when you're doing this with the intention of what you say matters and what you say is going to affect people, it's going to affect yourself. This is an internal narrative. This is my life's work. I'm 27. I'm going to be 28 next year. You know how many people would kill to be 27? Again? I remember being young and looking forward to being 27, being an adult. I was in like 5th grade. I'm always forgetting water. I gotta get water. I keep the podcast rolling. Because there's no cuts, there's no takes. Just give me the keys. Give me the keys. It's so fun. I don't understand. And I like that it's open-ended. I don't want to pre-plan this out. I don't know what kind of podcast you listen to, but I don't need show notes. I don't need a topic. I don't need guests. I don't really need some format or outline. I don't want that. I literally don't want that. At least not right now. I'm sure down the line, this is all like super new and exciting to me right now. It feels, I haven't felt this way ever in my life. Like what I felt this weekend. The past few days, this past weekend, I think is what it's called. I've had hints of this feeling before. I've felt it before, but this time it feels so settled in, this feeling, this understanding, this knowing. And it feels like now. It feels like what I'm doing right now feels so good. I wish that I could share it with more people. I can. Do you guys remember Shia LaBeouf, that green screen video where he's got that little rat ponytail and he's just like, do it! Yes, you can! When he said, yes, you can, and I remember hearing those words, yes, you can. I don't know when that came out, but the yes, you can was like, I remember when it registered in my mind, I said, why haven't I heard this more in my life? Why isn't there more people in my life saying, yes, you can? And saying it in a way where they mean it. That clip. Yes, you can. I wonder if I can find that. I don't know how to do any podcast. There's all these rules. I don't want to think about them as rules, because if I call them rules, they'll become rules. There's some parameters you got to live inside of if you're going to do a podcast. That's a better way of thinking about it. You need a thumbnail. You need video. I literally thought I was going to just upload blank audio to YouTube. And then a register, I'm like, wow, every video on YouTube has motion. It's a movie. It's an MP4. Didn't know that. Didn't ever need to know that. But now I do. It's crazy how quickly I've learned what it is. Or, no, I've known what it is for a long time. Like I said, I've been listening to podcasts most of my adulthood. I'm 27. I guess you guys know how old I am at this point. But I've been listening to podcasts so in depth, so long, for so much time. So I know what they are, but this has just been, the way I want to do it is, it's just different. It's just different. Anyways, I'm going to see, but anyways, what I was saying is if I'm going to, I don't know the rules of like content privacy or what I can or can't use. Can I play music? Like if I pulled up like music, could I play it over? What's the copyright rule? I do want to watch this though.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it!
Do it.
Make your dreams
Come true.
Just do it! Some people dream of success while you're gonna wake up and work hard
at it.
Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not gonna stop there.
I'm sure most people know that video. Yeah, if you're tired of giving... Oh, I already messed it up. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Yes, you can. And it's a podcast. It's always been a podcast. It will be a podcast. There's no cuts. Whenever I'm like, and we'll be right back, dun, 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 I'm literally still here. And the other thing about this contrast of podcasting, so I had this idea too. Why does this feel so right for me? Well, I've been writing for like 6 years. I've been producing music for like 6 years. I started in like 2016. These two things. I was a junior in college. And this idea of writing, I mean, I had to write because I was in college. I was learning. I was taking English 100 or whatever it was. And I was just learning about, okay, communication. It's pretty important. You should get good at writing because writing is attached to how you think. So I started writing like leisurely. I mean, everyone writes their papers in college, or I guess nowadays. God, I can't imagine being in college nowadays with ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, write me a 500-word essay on blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm grateful for that. I had to actually write the paper. And I was the kind of guy in college where I did want to write the paper. I did want it to be good. I did want to find out what I knew through writing. So I've been doing writing. I write all the time on this website called Medium. I've published on there a couple times, a lot of times. So I've been doing that. And then music, it was 2016. It was my junior year. I got an iPad for college. Being in college, you write and you need an iPad. That's what we do in the 21st century. So I get iPad and there's GarageBand on there. That's it. That's the story. There was GarageBand on the iPad and I started using it. And that just progressed. It was just fun. It progressed. Both of those two things progressed. That was 2016. Recording this November 19th on a Sunday, 2023. That's 7 years. 7. This concept of 7. I'll do a concept of 7 podcast a different day, but so podcasting feels like those two things, a natural merge of those two things. When I talk about this breakthrough, when I talk about this idea, this enlightenment, when I'm saying these words, what I mean is that a lot of things snapped into place in my thinking. A lot of things, it's like a crescendo. That's a good word. Crescendo. Do you guys know what a crescendo is? It's like, think of like an orchestra. At the end, there's some like build up. Every instrument's firing. It's rising. It's not a climax. It is a climax, but it's resolve. It's a final resolve. It's a crescendo. It's like it's building. The end, it's like send it. Straight up. A climax is like it builds and then it goes back down. But it's like a crescendo is like, yes! So anyways, I feel like that in my life. This is my life's work. I'm 27. I don't want to say the word enlightenment. That sounds too woo-woo. Get out of here with that word. I would say it's... I mean, there's something about the age of 27. It feels like the age of reason. Feels like passing into a new stage. And these concepts of... How many concepts could I fit in? I'm at 10 minutes. I actually prefer doing podcasts right now, at least short form. Like something you could just throw on if you're getting in the car going to the gym, or you're waking up and you got 20 minutes to brush your teeth and do a hair, and or you're driving to work, or just something small. And but I've thought a lot about... I'm already been like thinking nonstop about this. Like it's not stopped since Friday. And why is this so important? Why is this... I think I still want to write, and I think I still want to make music. I'm not sure though, because this right here, this is the most direct. This is the most... is what it is. It's here right now. That's the cornerstone. It's here right now. I'm here, you're here, I'm saying this, you're hearing it. It's a podcast. With writing, there's a lot of like bandwidth constrictions when you're trying to think thoughts, and then I get why I get why Theo Vaughn gets so mad when there's a notification that pops up. That just happened to me. Holy shit. Wow, it does disrupt your thinking. Holy cow. I guess do not disturb. Put that in the show notes. I have no idea what I was just saying. Like literally couldn't tell you. But that's a podcast. I feel like it was important. Just keep it moving. Fiji water. So the creativity of a podcast, the creativity behind it of there's just so many ways to make your life more meaningful if you do a podcast, because you start living in a way where you know you're going to talk about it on a podcast. And if you can say what you do out loud to other people for all to hear, if you're in the light, so to speak, if you're not ashamed of who you are, what you do, and and that doesn't mean that you're perfect. That means that you're just willing to, you're willing to be vulnerable. Be humble. Be humiliated. Humble and humility and humiliation, that's interesting to me. Humble, great connotation, great word. Oh, he's so humble. That guy, oh, he's such a good guy. He's so humble. But if you say, man, that guy, he's humiliating, bro. It doesn't sound the same. Humiliation, but it's the same concept. Humble means like vulnerability. Humility is way too much vulnerability. You're embarrassed. So, yeah, I feel both of those things. I feel all that emotion. And sometimes with writing, with music, these two things on the side, it can be hard to find my voice in these things, in this music. It's like with music, I have to build up a scenery. I have to find a premise. I have to create an atmosphere. I have to live in a space for my voice to be there. I got to do a lot of pre-work to get my voice in there. And then once my voice is in there, I got to edit. Does it sound right like that? I got to string it along. I mean, a song, A song changes every like 8 bars. You got to change it up. You got to pick a new rhyme scheme. You got to say a new word. You got to carry the tension forward. You have to stop the suspense. You have to change the song, and you got to string your voice in. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of mental preoccupation by yourself. It's turning your wheels in your mind on editing. I do that with music. Same thing with writing. Hard to find your voice in writing. It's easier with writing. It's way more clear, for sure. But it's, again, this concept of having to edit, having to just pre-filter, edit, change a sentence. How many times I change a sentence? I'll rewrite the same sentence 20 times and then delete it. So too much spinning the wheels on. There's a lot in my mind. I'm thinking a lot. I'm living a life that's worth sharing. Praise God. Doing things that matter to me, that inspire me. And these two medium, this writing on Medium, this making music, they don't do anything. They don't produce anything. They don't change who I am for the good. I mean, it's changing who I am because I'm editing both, but it's not facing the light. It's not moving forward. This is now. And I'm so adamant about this concept of now. And I've already talked about it so much, and it's so hard to describe. I have one good friend, the Gimme The Keys. I mean, I guess he's a co-founder, Aaron Coyne, my brother Coinage. He would know what I'm talking about with this thing called the now, presence. It sounds silly, but it is the most important thing that I've ever learned, hands down, is this concept of being able to turn off the past, turn off the future, and be in the now. I mean, that is peace. Naval Ravikant, he talks about that. I've never said his name out loud. I think that's right. Naval. I don't know why I try to say his last name. We all know him by Naval. He's the guy that does, he's an angel investor. He talks about meditation. He talks about business. He talks about startups. He talks about these concepts. He was on, the first time I heard Naval, he was on Joe Rogan, and he had this presence about him. This thing called presence. What is that? You can almost see it when you're watching the video. You can feel it in his voice, but you can see it too when you're listening to him talk to Joe Rogan on his podcast. And I'm like, what is that? What has he got? That was 2019. I was thinking that. What does this man have? Because I didn't have it. 2019. Yeah. I mean, I kind of had it at some points, but so anyways, so Naval, he writes about this. You don't really want to be rich. You don't really want to be, you want to be happy. And I used to have, I used to think happy was a bad word. I used to think it was a frivolous word. I used to think it was a blind eye to the reality of suffering. Oh, I'm happy. Why are you happy? You're going to die. So I can be a little nihilistic, I guess, but he talks about peace. You want peace. You want peace of mind. And that's the point of business. That's the point of doing sales. That's the point of having any idea that you think could take you somewhere new, that could change the world, that could provide value. Keyword value. I'll say it again for emphasis. It's sales, bro. It's so simple. But when I think about all the tones I have to pick, when I talked about this 360 spatial awareness, that's the now. All we have is right now. That's it. What about now? Oh yeah. What about now? It's a podcast, bro. It's a podcast.